3, 2, 1, go. Welcome to this video. We're going to be doing a design breakdown of these two designs. They're basically for the same brand, and it's a real estate design, and based off the brief that was gotten, it was about two different, let's call them real estate locations, and based off the vibe that the brand wanted the brand to look like, this was what was designed. Now, it's a layer breakdown. We're going to be looking at the different layers and what consisted of the layers to achieve the end results. So for the background, we started from the gradient background and we added a real estate location or the image of the location to the top, and we decided to add different layers. This was a background that was gotten off Pinterest and was overlaid to this. For people that use smartphone, you could just reduce the opacity till it's giving a feeling of something like this, and then we added, to cover up that, we added a gradient to this, and this background also, it's just a normal background like this, and just the overlay to give us this kind of feeling, or this clumsy feeling. But most of these things are hidden in the background, but just because it's layer overlay. Now, a lot of reasons why this were put in the design is so that the design is sharp and based off the feelings that we want to see eventually. Now, here is how it works. So this is more like a light effect, and if you see this shape, there's this stroke that has this kind of the light effect flowing into the shape at some places. So you can see that it works very perfectly with this, even though that is just a stroke. But because of how well we decided to apply the stroke, it has worked very well with the light effects that the background is giving there. So we come to add the text, the logo, and other information, and we just play around with shadows, lighting. That is what is giving this part of the design now different feelings. So here we play with stroke, here we play with shadow. You can see that the shape there has a shadow that is cast on this. Now, if you look at in real estate, you see that the house is, depending on the direction of the sun, shadows would cast in different directions. Now, if you look here, the brightness of that background that was placed here kind of make it feel like there's a light coming in from this angle. So you can see that it works very well with the shadow. So when you are doing and playing with lighting in your design, you should also make sure that you are noticing this little information or these little effects. And then we add the text, and okay, I think it was when this image was added, I decided to add some things to the background, and then we added this love and that's vector image there, put it in front also, and then a rectangle on top. And come to the other informations, which is just knowing how to properly align your text depending on the size and the information that you want. So knowing when to use big text in the headline, knowing when to call attention to a body text with color. Now, this is already calling attention first in the text. Because we also want you to read this property overview, we put it on a black shape with white button-like text. Now, if you got them buttons in website, but here they are just to call attention to this product or property overview and pricing option. And then so that you know that okay, these things are different, we decided to give address yellow, type yellow, and then the other one's white. So we're just calling separations. Now when you start reading here, you're also going to notice this price for the houses, because this is just basically calling attention with subtle colors, shapes, arrangements, size to different information. Now when you come to the lower part of the design, we're seeing red here, and this red is calling us to a certain action which says book a viewing, embrace or sustainable living, which is telling you to basically come and see what you want to buy basically. So book a viewing means come and see, or book a slot to maybe we'll take you there. And then there's nearby landmarks and contact. Now for contact information, once you know that you're booking a viewing, you would want to have a number to call. That is why among this other information, the number is bigger. So if you then need the email or website, then you look down. But the number is something that people would easily want to just take on their phone and maybe send a WhatsApp message and send them a DM on maybe WhatsApp, or call them directly. So this is basically it. Now for the second one too, it's basically the same thing. Harbor view, which is the image of the location, the headline, the person, and for this one also we're playing just the same brand's color, but we're now playing with different shades. On this one here, we're calling attention with white. On this one, because this part of the design is white, we're calling attention with a darker shade of color, which is basically highlighting the property overview and pricing option. And for here, we're using red and size difference to call attention to the price of each of the properties. Coming down here to yellow on black is contrasting, so we're using this yellow to call attention to features, and then people read and then look at nearby landmark. And same thing with contact information. The phone number is very big, which is telling people is bigger than the other text surrounding the, which is telling people okay, this is our fastest means of communication. So you are saying something subtly without even talking. So you are saying once you contact us, we are mostly available without having to say it, mostly available on a contact page, or you can easily get us through this place. And then there are others too, but this is an option that you should most likely go for. And then there are other informations and just other things to further pass the information without too much stress. So the same thing with the layer breakdowns of this one. It's just the same effects on the designs, and you can see the same thing here, the background, the text coming up to your full design here. And here it is the layer breakdown of this. What's the reason why this is done is so that you understand that every design you see, yeah, every design has layers, but sometimes most elements are added or most things are used in design for specific reasons, for specific purposes, and can also have certain use cases.